Welcome to Accelerated Math 108, Module 9.3. In this lecture video, we're going to take a look at how to solve linear equations of the form ax plus b equal to cx plus d. What that means is we're going to begin to solving multi-step linear equations, okay, in those form. So again, I copied this from my previous sections. So, all right, let's take a look. We're going to do exactly the same thing as following the 6 steps. So identify terms. So on the left side, the equal sign, I see there's a subtraction sign separate between two terms. On the right side, there is a plus sign separate between two terms. So that means on the left side, I got two terms. The right side, I got two terms. All right, none of my 4 terms has any parentheses, so there's no distribution needed. Step number 3, combine like terms on each side if needed. So since the left side don't have any like term, the right side don't have any like terms, now we can begin to move our terms around. So before I move anything, make sure you find your variable term. In this case, I got variable term on the left and the variable term on the right side of equal sign. So now we have to think about where should I move my variable term to the right side or to the left side? The answer to that question is it does not matter where the variable term is, right or left, should still give the same answer. However, sometimes it's easier to move to a certain side, and the way how we decide is by taking a look at which variable term is bigger. So whenever you have one on the right, one on the left like this, always move it to the bigger side. Since 4t is bigger than 2t, what I can do is move it to the right side. That will keep my variable term positive that will always keep the variable term positive. So I'm going to pick up my 2t, move over to the right. That means I need to move my positive 5 to the left. So equal sign in the middle. On the right side, 4t, still 4t. When the positive 2t come over, it becomes negative. On the left side, negative 11, still negative 11. When positive 5 come over, it becomes negative. So now let's combine like terms again. 4t minus 2t is 2t. So I'm in step number 5 now. Negative 11 minus 5, if you do it in your calculator, term with the same sign, you should add. So that would be negative 16. So now I'm down to 2 terms. No more like term to combine. Variable term on one side, there's no parentheses, so it must be time to divide both sides by the coefficient. So my answer, t equals negative 8. Okay. All right, let's try another one. Now this one involving with parentheses. So I'm wondering if you all remember in lecture video for module 9.1, we talk about different types of solution. All right, so if you look at this particular example, the left side has 2 terms. The right side, since there's no addition or subtraction signs outside the parenthesis, that means all these guys are 1 term. All right, so between the subtraction sign and the parenthesis, there's really a 1 there. So my right side, I will need to use a negative 1 to do a distribution. So I'm at step number 2. All right, so on the right side, negative 1 times 5w, negative 5w. So this is just like what we do in module 8. Negative 1 times negative 7 is positive 7. On the left side, I still have negative 5w and a positive 7. So now, if you take a look at it, the left side is exactly the same as the right side. So let me show you a trick. Whenever you see exactly the same term on both sides, they will automatically cancel out. So as a matter of fact, positive 7 on the left, positive 7 on the right side will also cancel out. So in this case, my variable term actually got canceled out. And the 7 also cancels out, so I end up with 0 equal to 0, which is a true statement. So that indicating My answer is all real numbers. Because if you look up here, negative 5w plus 7 is exactly equal to negative 5w plus 7. So the left side is already equal to the right side. So that would be all real numbers. Okay, so if you go back and look at your 9.1 handouts, at the very beginning there are three types of solution. One of them says all real numbers, and you see that when the left side is exactly equal to the right side. Excuse me. All right, let's try another one. Step number 1, identify terms. So I see the left side of the equal sign. There's a subtraction sign, so that's separate between two terms. The right hand side, there is no addition or subtraction sign outside the parenthesis. So all this is one term. So my third term requires me to use a distributive property. So we will say 3 times 5x and 3 times positive 3. That's the way how we read it. So 3 times 5x is 15x, and we say 3 times positive 3. That will give me positive 9. Okay, we don't say plus 9 because right now we're looking at individual 9 and 15x as individual terms. So we say positive or negative. So the left side, I got negative 3x, and I also got negative 45. All right, step number 3, there is no like term to combine on each side, so we can skip that. Step number 4, move all the variable term to the same side. So before I move anything, I need to find all my variable terms. I got 15x here on the right, negative 3x on the left. So since I got variable term on both sides, I need to move them all to the same side. So in this particular example, moving to the right is easier because 15x is bigger than negative 3x. So we always move it to the bigger side. So that means on the right side, 15x still 15x. When the negative 3x come over, it become positive. That means this positive 9 got to move over to the left. So negative 45 still the same. Positive 9 come over, becomes negative 9. So after a while, when you do this long enough, you can begin to eliminating steps. Some students just know this negative 3x come over will automatically become positive 18x because sign change and we combine. The left side, positive 9 go over, become negative. So negative 45 minus 9. Term with the same sign, we add, or you can put this in the calculator. So that will give you negative 54. So now divide both sides by the coefficient 18. My answer, what is it? Negative 54 divided by 18. And that will give me negative 3. So my answer, x equal to negative 3. Okay. Alrighty. I got a few more for us to go over. Just kind of do a little bit different variety of these problems. A lot of them are very similar. As long as we follow the 6 steps, I think we'll be okay. So now this particular equation, if we take a look at the left side of the equal sign, there is no plus sign or minus signs outside the parenthesis. So all the left side, the entire left side is one term. All right, the right side, there's a subtraction sign outside the parentheses, so separate between two terms. What's in front of it is one term, and what's behind it is another term. Okay, as you can recall, that by the definition of a term in Module 8, multiplication between anything is always one term. So here I got 3 terms, two of them has parentheses. I will need to use a distributive property. So my first term, 7 times 2x, that will give me 14x. Then we say 7 times positive 3, and that will give me positive 21. All right, equal sign in the middle. My second term has parentheses. Let's do a distribution real quick. So that will be 4 times x, which is 4x. And then we say 4 times negative 5. You got to say the word multiplication, okay? You got to say times. So your brain will naturally write down negative 20. All right, that's it for the first term, distribution. Now my last term on the right still going to be negative 17. All right, step number 3, combine like terms on each side if needed. So it looks like the right side, the negative 20, negative 17 can be combined. So 4x is still there. Negative 20 minus 17, term with the same sign, we add. So that'll be negative 37. Left side, I still got 14x, and I still got positive 21. All right, so now let's move them. I see variable term on the left and the right. So let's move the variable term to the bigger side, which is to the left. 14x is bigger than 4x. So when positive 4x come over, it become negative. 14x minus 4x will be 10x. All right, that means my positive 21 need to move over, become negative. So that will become negative 37 minus 21. Combined like terms would give me negative 48. Excuse me, 58. Oops. All right, now it must be time to divide both sides by coefficient 10. So my answer, x equals, let's see what that is. I'm going to let the calculator reduce for me. Negative 58. Yep. Divided by 10. All right, let's reduce. All right, negative 29 over 5. Okay, that will be my answer. So be very careful, okay, when we're solving equation involving with parentheses, make sure you identify the terms first in order to know what need to be distributed, what not to. Because a lot of time when students see an example like this, they would naturally say negative 4 plus 6 first, which is incorrect. Because on the left side of the equal sign, there is one addition sign separate between two terms. Negative 4 is the first term. From the plus sign to the equal sign is another term. Since the plus sign go with the terms that follows, we say this is positive 6 times 5z plus 3. All right, on the right hand side, there's a subtraction sign here, outside the parenthesis. So that's separate between two terms. What's in front of it? This is really a negative, how much? Negative how much? Negative. You don't see a number here, so you got to be a 1. That's a negative 1 that will do a distribution. And my last term got to be negative 5. So it seems like my second and third term has parentheses, so we will do distribution. So first term, don't change, still negative 4. Second term has parentheses. Let's distribute. 6 times 5z, positive 6 times 5z, positive 30z. Then we say positive 6 times positive 3, that will give me positive 18. Equal sign in the middle. All right, my third term, negative 1 times z, negative 1z, or you can say negative z. Negative 1 times positive 4, that will be negative 4. All right, the fourth term in the equation is still negative 5, so it's still there. Now, let's combine. So this thing gets long now. That's why step number 3 is important. Because step number 3 tells me to combine like terms first on each side before I do any moving. So the left side, let's see. The left side, I believe negative 4 and positive 18 can be combined. So 30z, still 30z. All right, negative 4 plus 18, term with different sign, we subtract, so that would be positive 14, right? Because I got more positive than negative, so my answer will still be positive. Equal. It looks like the right side, negative 4 and negative 5 can be combined. So that will be negative z, still the same. Term with the same sign, we add, so that's negative 9. So now it's time to move them. So do you see I got variable term 30z on the left, negative 1z on the right? So since I got them on both sides, I will need to move them to the same side before I can combine them. So since 30 is bigger than negative 1, I will move my negative z to the left side. and that will become 31z. Why? Because negative 1 come over become positive 1z. So 30z plus 1z give me 31z. Negative z come over become positive. 30 plus 1 is 31z. So at the same time, I'm going to move my positive 14 to the right since all the z's is on the left side. So positive 14 come over, become negative. So I still got negative 9 here. Positive 14 come over, become negative. So we say negative 9 minus 14 in the calculator. That will give me negative 23. All right, so divide both sides by the coefficient, 31. My answer, z equals negative 23 over 31. I know both our prime numbers cannot be reduced, so that's the answer. Okay. All right. Again, with the decimals, I'm just gonna do this problem just like I showed you before, just working with the decimals. So none of the four terms here has parentheses, so I don't have to do any distribution or distributive property. No light term to combine on each side, so let's move them. Put this down a little bit. Negative 0.5 is bigger than negative 1.8, so I'm going to move my negative 1.8w, or move all the variable term to the left side. Move it to the bigger side. Keep the variable term positive. So at the same time, I'm going to move my 5.8 over. So with the equal sign in the middle, left side, negative 0.5w, still there. Negative 1.8w come over, become positive. The right side, negative 3.3 still there. Positive 5.8 come over, becomes negative. So I'm just going to put this in the calculator. Negative 0.5 plus 1.8 is 1.3w equal to, all right, term with the same sign we will add, so that will be negative 3.3 minus 5.8. So when I add them up, that will be about 9.1, negative 9.1, yep. All right, so down to two terms, no more like term to combine, no parentheses. Let's divide up both sides by the coefficient 1.3. So with a negative 9.1 on my calculator, divided by 1.3, so I can just press divide 1.3. So A and S stand for answer from the previous line in the calculator. There you go, W equal to negative 7. All right, that's all we do. Okay. All right, let's take a look at a few fraction equations, okay? So we done one similar to this before, where I show you how to clear the fractions. If you want to work with a fraction, you can, but whenever I can, I'll always try to show students how to clear the fractions, kind of get you used to seeing those arithmetic for other modules in this course. So the LCD between 7, 2, and 4. What do you think? 7, 2, and 4. Well, just do 2 at a time. Between 2 and 4, the LCD got to be 4. So between 7 and 4, got to be 28. So what I'm going to do is multiply every term by 28. Remember, it's the process is what I want you to see. Because when you times by the LCD 28, it instantly put them all these 28 on the numerator. So the 28 on the numerator can reduce with the denominator. So the denominator become 1. 20 and 7 reduce into 1 and 4. So 4 times 5y will give me 20y. Okay, no more denominator because they all become 1. All right, top 28, bottom 2 reduce into 1 and 14. 14 times 7. 14 times 7, negative 98. All right, equal sign. Okay, I think this is the same thing in it. 2 and 20 reduce into 1 into 14. 7 times 14, 98 again. Y, right, minus top 28, bottom 4 reducing to 1 is 7. 1 times 7 would just be 7. Okay, so right now it looks like there is no like terms to combine on each side. So since 98y is bigger than 20y, I'm going to move my 20y to the right. At the same time, move my negative 7 to the left. So 98y still the same. 20 positive 21, 20y come over to the right, become negative. On the left side, negative 98 is still there. When this negative 7 move over, it will become positive 7. All right, so remember now, solving any equation is all about having all the variable term on the same side, everybody else on the other side. So once we get to this point, we can combine like terms. So that gives me 78y equals, let's see, negative 98 plus 7. Term with different sign we subtract. That's negative 91. So now divide both sides by the coefficient 78. My answer, y equals, let's see if this can be reduced. Negative 91. Oops, I got it right here. Negative 91, right? Divided by 78. Go and convert to fractions. Sorry. Negative 7 over 6. Okay, negative 7 over 6. That will be my answer. Clear the fraction. Now let's take a look at some fraction equation involving with parentheses. I think the easiest way to do problem like these is to kind of run through the multiplication first, and then you can decide to work with the fraction or clear the fraction. Okay, so all right, I got two terms, right? There's no plus or minus signs outside the parentheses, so this is just two terms. My first term has parentheses. Let's do a distributive property. So negative 3 over a times y, negative 3 over a y. Negative 3 over 8 times positive 109 will be negative something. 3 over 8 times 1 over 9. I'm going to show you how to do this by hand. Refresh your memory. Top 3, bottom 9 reduce into 1 and 3. So that should be 1 over 24. All right. If you don't believe me, you can check it with your calculator, of course. All right. Second term also has parentheses, so if I do a distribution, that will give me 1 over a y in positive. So sometimes I reduce just by looking at it. 2 and a reduced into 1 and 4. So that's 1/4 times 1/3, which is 1 over 12. Okay, you check it with your calculator. 1/8 times 2/3. Okay, reduce top and bottom, become 1 over 12. Alright, so apparently now there's no more like term to combine on each side, so I can move my negative 3 over ay to the right, positive 1 over 12 to the left, okay, work with the fraction, or I can multiply every term by the LCD. So either way, which way seems easier for you. So let me show you how to do this, okay? Let me show you how to do this with the calculator. I mean, working with a fraction, but do them in the calculator. So let's move terms, because right now I got positive 1 over 8y on the right, negative 3 over 8y on the left. So positive 1 over 8 is bigger, so let's move the negative over. So when the negative come over, it become positive, so that become 1 over 8y still here on the right. Negative 3 over 8y come over, become positive. On the left side, negative 1 over 24 is there. When the positive 1 over 12 come over to the left side, it got to be negative 1 over 12. All right, so let's check it out. Parenthesis 1 over 8 plus parenthesis 3 over 8. All right, let's convert to a fraction. That's 1 over 2y, or half y. All right, this side. Let's combine like terms. Parenthesis, negative 1 over 24 minus parenthesis 1 over 12. So this is convert to a fraction. That's about negative 1/8. So just by looking at this right now, the last step is divided by the coefficient, which is a half on both sides. So positive half, excuse me. So with the negative 1 over 8, still on my calculator, I'm going to say divide, parenthesis, 1 over 2. Sorry, I didn't mean to do exponents. Divide. Second, all the way to the right. Voila, negative 0.25, convert to a fraction, that will be negative 1/4. So my y equal to negative 1/4. Okay, that will be my answer. All right, got 2 more to go. I know this video drags a little bit. So this one, tell you what, this one I'm gonna clear the fraction for you once I do my distributive property. So let me go ahead and do the distributive property here for this fourth term. 1 over 4 times z, 1 over 4z, minus 1 over 4 times 7 over 2. The top 7, bottom 4 cannot be reduced. So that would just be 1 times 7 is 7, 4 times 2 is 8. All right, nothing changed on the left side. Still z, still negative 2/3 z, still negative 3 over 8. Okay, so if you look at all the denominator, it's really between 3, 8, 4. So LCD between 4 and 8 is 8, because 8 can go into it, 4 can go into 8. Between 8 and 3 is 24. So the least common denominator is 24, so we will multiply every term by 24. Every term, now z is actually a term times by 24. So hopefully by now you can just kind of look at it. 24 times z is 24z minus 3 and 24 reduced into 1 and 8. 8 times 2z is 16z minus 8 and 24 reduced into 1 and 3. 3 times 3 is 9 equals a fourth of 24, got to be 6z, right? Z right here. Because 24 and 4 reduced into 1 and 6. 6 times 1z, 6z minus a and 24 reduced into 1 and 3. So 7 times 3, 21. Okay, so if you can do it just by looking at it, you're doing very, very well. All right, let's combine like terms here. It seems like I can combine 24z and negative 16z on the left side. So that should give me 8z minus 9 equal to 6z and minus 21. So it looks like 8z is bigger than 6z. Let's move it to the left. So 6z come over, become negative. 8z minus 6z is 2z equals, all right, z on the left, that means negative 9 need to go to the other side. Negative 21, still the same. Negative 9 come over, become positive. So that'll be negative 21 plus 9, which is negative 12. Divide both sides by coefficient 2. My answer, z equals negative 6. Okay, make sure you change the sign when you move across the equal sign. All right, let's do same thing here. So as you can notice, I began to skip in steps, which we need to do that over time. Otherwise, as we go along in this class, if we write every single step down, these things will look very scary. Okay, so if you can move terms and do them in your hand, that would be awesome. All right. All right, equal sign right here. The right side actually have 2 terms. This look weird. in front of the subtraction sign, these guys are one term. Behind the subtraction sign, negative 1/3 times 4 over 3x is one term. The left side got two terms. So let me do some distribution first. So the left side, 3 still 3, negative x still the same. 1 over 8 times 5, got to be 5 over 8. How do I know so quick? Because I know 5 means 5 over 1. 5 and 8 cannot reduce, so I just multiply the top with the top, bottom with the bottom. 1 over 8 times negative x is negative 1 over 8x. All right. Negative 1/3. Let's do negative 1/3. Multiply by 4x and negative 3. So negative 1/3 times 4x, negative 4 over 3x. Negative 1/3 times negative 3 is positive 1. Negative 1/3 times negative 3 means negative 3 over 1. So top 3, bottom 3 cancels out, becomes 1. Negative times negative is positive. So from here, you can work with the fraction or you can clear the fraction. Okay, it's really totally up to you to decide which technique you want to use. So if I want to clear the fraction, my denominator is basically a n 3, which means the LCD, excuse me, is 24. So multiply every term by 24 times every term by 24. Even the 1 is a term, got times by 24. 24 times 3 in the calculator, probably going to be 72 minus 24x equal 24 times 5 over 8. A and 24 reduced to 1 and 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Minus, this is going to be 3x minus 3 and 24 reduced into 1 and 8. 8 times 4 is 32x plus 1 times 24, 24. All right, so let's see. No like term here on the left. Negative 3x, negative 32x are like term. I can combine them. 15 and 24 also like term. I can combine them. 15 and positive 24. So 15 plus 24 like it's 39. Negative 3x minus 32x. Term with the same sign, we add. So that's negative 35x equal to 72 and a negative 24x on the left. So now again, I got variable term on the right and a variable term on the left. All right, so negative 24 is bigger, so I move my negative 35 over. That means 72 got to go the other side. So these numbers are big, I'm gonna write it out. Negative 24 still negative 24x. Negative 35x come over, become positive. The right side, 39 still 39. Positive 72 come to the right, become negative. So if I combine them, term with a different sign, we subtract. Term with different sign, we subtract, right? Positive 35x, negative 24x. So that should give me 11x. Check my math now, because sometimes when I record video, it's late at night, so my brain don't work as quick. All right, 39 minus 72. Let's see, negative 33. Cool bean. So, divide both sides by coefficient 11. My answer, x equals negative 3. All right, so in this lecture video, we talk about how to solve multi-step linear equations, where for some problems, we have to do our distributed properties. And when we're dealing with a fraction equation, we can still clear the fraction or work with the fraction. All right. That will conclude this lecture video. Thank you for watching.